Good morning. Good morning. Well, I'm happy to be here with men and women who understand that all you want is a decent day's pay for a decent day's work. And so I'm happy to be among you. I'm happy to say that I still am the lone voice thus far in the state of Mississippi for working men and women. But we're going to change that. But we can only change it with CWA's help. We are a right-to-work state. We have some of the most repressive work arrangements you can imagine. We just got through with Haley Barbour. We just got through with a whole bunch of other people who don't care about working men and women. But you know, we're not going to give up. We're going to continue to organize and make sure that in that organizational effort, we educate the public as to who are kin and who are foe. And that's why you coming here to Washington is so important, because what you learn here, you can carry back to your respective areas and educate the broader membership about the job that we need to do. Because we have some terrible people in this town. You find out before you leave. They sell snake oil. They sell everything you can imagine in the name of good government. So I want you to take up the information you learn here. When you get to the Capitol Hill, don't let them tell you that they're working hard for you, that we're doing all we can to make life better. And then you look at the record. You know, we can't even get an FAA bill reauthorized like it ought to be. You know? That's right. See, they'll tell you we're working on the bill, but then they won't tell you about the fine print. That's right. It's the fine print where working folk get screwed. And so clearly what you have to do is understand how to dissect the animal so you can carry the message back home. So when your senator or representative come back bragging about how hard they're working for you, just raise your hand, Mr. Senator. What about this part of the bill where if I don't vote in a union election, it counts as a no vote? That's right. You understand? Only in a union election. Right. Now, in your election, if people don't vote, it's not counted as a no vote. So why are you going to put that kind of pressure on working people? Now, mind you, these are folk who go to work every day, work hard, and all they want is a few of the things that working hard in America guarantees you. Good family situation. If you have children, you can do it, health care, and at the end of your working career, a pension. Now, all of a sudden, they're saying that pensions is a bad word. But guess who's trying to cut your pension while they try to pad their pension? That's right. It's kind of say, do as I say do and not as I do. So part of your educating here this week is to carry the real message back home. So I want to encourage you to do that. The other thing is, don't let people tell you that you can't be a supporter of labor and get elected. I'm elected only because the House of Labor supported me when I ran in 1992, and I'm still here. And I'm not like those fair weather friends. Now, you know what fair weather friends are. When they're running for office, they'll tell you anything you want to hear to get elected. And the minute you knock on doors, you hand bill work sites, you do all the good stuff to get them elected, and when you come to Washington, you can't get an appointment, or you're going to meet with an intern. You understand? You never see your congressperson. See, something's wrong with that picture. And then when you finally get them, they tell you, well, you know, I'm up here in Washington now, and I have to represent everybody. So that's how it is. So now when nobody would touch you when you're running and you needed help, we couldn't get rid of you. Now all of a sudden you're elected, and now you've changed. So I want you to understand that when those folks start running, like they are right now, you need to ask the tough questions before they get elected. Because sometimes, as I said, we've elected people who fooled us when they got here. Fooled me once. You've heard it, but you're not going to do it again. So now, let me again encourage you to move forward. We have a lot to do this year. The opposition is coming up with all kinds of tricks. Now all of a sudden they're saying when you need to go vote in the freest country in the world, you got to prove who you are. So now, let me see, I go pay my taxes. I don't have to prove who I am. You know what I'm saying? I do a whole bunch of things in this country that all I have to do is just show up. So now all of a sudden, if I want to vote for the candidate of my choice, I got to come up with certain forms of ID. And I'm from a state that's rich in voter suppression.
That's right.
You know, we invented poll tax in Mississippi. So I know what tricks are. And so I'm telling you, those 34, 35 states, in the name of ballot integrity, voter integrity, is nothing but a tax to discourage good folk from showing up to vote. Right. They are saying, you know, we got, quote, tricked in 2008 because they showed up. Now, who is they? Now, I see a lot of theys right out here, and you know, you're not a Martian. You know, you're not somebody from planet Pluto. You're just working men and women. So all of a sudden, they've identified you as the enemy. Now, we have veterans in this group. We have patriots in this group, people who put their lives on the line, and all of a sudden, because you belong to a union, you're an enemy. Amazing. Only in America can you do all those good things and still be called an enemy. But you know, God doesn't like ugly. And so what we're going to do is come 2012, we're going to show that 2008 wasn't a fluke, because we're going back in record numbers. But we can only do it with your help, because all of this is on the line. When I see the Republican candidates to be for president talking about all these bad things, talking about a food stamp president, you know, those are code words, you know? And then they really want to say that because you want this for your family, somehow you are adversely impacting the job creators. I said, now what the hell is a job creator in this situation? So every now and then, you have to look at the enemy. And I say just switch over to Fox TV for 30 seconds, see what the enemy is doing, and switch right back. Because then you understand what the enemy is all about. They are absolutely against working men and women. So we have work to do. So in addition to what you're doing this week, when you go back to your respective communities, we have to do voter registration. Then we have to do voter education. Because one of the analysis is that only about half the people we actually register to vote for the first time actually go vote. So you're going to have to register them and keep up with them until Election Day. However you do it, you're going to have to adopt those folk and keep up with them and take them. Now, they'll do good once you get them there the first time, but you got to get them there that first time. So I want to encourage you to do that. The other thing, talk common sense to your membership and to the people that you interact with every day. It's nice to use big words, make you sound like you're intelligent, but you don't have to do that. You just talk like we talking right now, and people get the message. So part of what you learn here this week is just how to talk common sense. Yep. And then that's important because you don't overshoot your audience you're trying to get to. So that's important. Lastly, I appreciate your support of me. I would not have chaired the House Committee on Homeland Security, where we've given TSA workers the right to choose a bargaining unit, should they choose. We've given other working men and women the right to do that, and we're trying to do it right. But now it's hard work trying to get people who want to do wrong do right. So I work every day with the chairman of my committee now, trying to make sure he doesn't single out Muslims for some kind of average targeting, because we are the rainbow here in this country. That's right. We are made up of black, brown, red, yellow people, and just because one bad person of a particular faith does something, doesn't mean that everybody else of that faith is bad. Right. Can you imagine if a Baptist did something wrong and we targeted all Baptists from now on? That's not how you do it. So you know, we have to set public policy right so that it makes sense. And so my job is to make sure that we don't unfairly target people. Because guess what? Every now and then, a big guy who goes through the airport with a beard get picked out too. And I chaired the committee. And I'm saying, well, I got a suit on, I got a tie, I took a shower this morning. What's the problem? Then they said, I know how it look, but it ain't what you think. I said, oh, come on now. So I know we have work to do, and that's why we work every day on making sure that in the best country in the world, we treat all our citizens alike. And that's why being a member of this union is so important, because you understand the value of treating people the same. You have a contract that pays people regardless of gender or any other position. It's for that day's work, and that's what it's all about. And so that's why the opposition see you good people in this room as the enemy, because you see the value of treating people alike, because you're so important that you put it in writing. Can you imagine dealing with the enemy and forcing the enemy to put it in black and white? My God. That means the backdoor room and the meetings are no more. So apart from that, I'm excited about you being here. We need your help all over this country. Our organizing effort in Mississippi goes on. We're going to do Head Start teachers in Mississippi. Absolutely something. It's an untapped resource all over the country. So we're going to move and do that. We're going to start doing state and local people in a more aggressive manner, because that, again, is that untapped resources. The Republicans have overplayed their hand. They've now said that our city and county workers are the enemy. Now, can you imagine having just a regular city job, and all of a sudden people classify you as the enemy? So many of my friends said, well, I thought they were talking about the other folk. I didn't know they were talking about us. So now all of a sudden we know who the enemy is. Again, if I can ever be of help to you, I want you to feel free to call me. I'm in 2466 Rabin. You don't have to have an appointment. You're great. I'm not going to treat you like a stranger. Do you have an appointment? Who you want to talk to? See, you know right then you're in trouble. That you did not elect the right person. But if you get put out somewhere in your travels in Rayburn, there's always a friend in Bennie Thompson, 2066 Rayburn. Thank you very much.